Hi kids! How are you today? Welcome to our English class. In this lesson, you will learn about making connections. Now at the end of this lesson, you are expected to make connections between informations viewed and personal experiences. Are you ready to listen? That's great! Let us start our journey in learning more about making connections. I am sure you're ready and excited to learn. To start with our lesson, let us try to answer the following questions. Have you ever experienced the following? Laughing while reading. How about crying while reading? Or feeling scared while reading or watching movies? That is because in your daily routine, you make connections in everything and in anything. Now let us try to read the poem. Make connections. I read and I connect it to my life. I read and I connect it to what I read. I read and I connect it to the world. I learn when I connect. I enjoy when I connect. Life is to make connections. Did you like the poem, class? When you view or read something, do you make connections? As you read, you may relate it to your own life experience, to the book you have read before, and even to the happenings in the world. That is because the brain is wired to connect new informations with the old knowledge that it is in the brain. When we say making connections, it is a strategy that can assist you in making meaning from a text. Something you have seen on TV about how the information you are reading connects to other familiar text and the world works that goes far beyond your own personal experiences. You can make connections between 1. Text to self, 2. Text to text, and the third one is text to the world. Text to self connections are highly personal connections that a reader makes between a piece of reading material and the reader's own experiences or life. An example of a text-to-self connections might be, "This story reminds me of a vacation we took to my grandfather's farm. This is an example of a text to self because there is a connection between the text and to your own experience. Second is text to text. Text to text is a connection between text. Sometimes when reading, readers are reminded of other things that they have read. Other books by the same author, stories from similar genre, or perhaps on the same topic. An example of this is the ending of this story is the same from the story I read before. This is an example of text-to-text connections because there is a connection from the text of the two stories. The third one is text to the world. Text to the world connections or the larger connections that a reader brings to a reading situation. We all have ideas about how the world works that goes far beyond our own personal experience. We learn about things through television, movies, magazines, and even newspapers. An example of a text-to-world connections would be when a reader says, "I saw a program on television that talked about things described in this article." This is an example of text-to-world connections because there is a connection between the text and the real scenario in the world. Did you understand our lesson, class? Now let's try to answer the following activity. Direction. Make connections by identifying if the lines from different short stories and clips from the news is text to self, text to text, or text to the world. Number 1. I read a story about what life was like before electricity. It reminded me of a time I went camping with my family and we only had the light of our fire to see. What type of connection is this? The correct answer is text to self. Number 2. The world was confronted with several pandemics before. This is the first caused by a coronavirus. What kind of connection is this? The correct answer is text to the world. Number 3 question. I read a story about a boy who visited a magic land with witches and wizards. It reminded me of the book Harry Potter. What kind of connection is this? The correct answer is text to text. Number 4. A highly personal connection that a reader makes between a piece of reading material and the reader's own experiences or life is called The correct answer is text to self. Number 5. I remember my high school days as I read this story. The correct answer for number 5 is text to self. Did you get the correct answer, class? Very good. And this is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you've learned something from teacher today. Till our next meeting. Bye, kids!